Hello everyone, and for the final time for me, welcome back to Dial H for HeroClix. Yes, the title is not clickbait. I really am leaving Dial H for HeroClix, and I wanted to make this video to talk a bit on why, as much as I can share there, and then kind of just the history I had with HeroClix and Dial H, as well as just a thank you to all of you guys who have tuned into us for all of these years. So, I think to start, we can talk about why, and that is, if you guys listen to the podcast, you know I work in the hotel field. I have decided to switch careers, and in doing so, I think it's left me with the inability to continue forward with Dial H. Obviously, it takes a considerable amount of time, effort, and just time, a lot of time, to do this stuff consistently, and I feel like I've been letting you guys down in that regard. And with this career shift, I just don't think there's a realistic way that I can continue. Now, if you have me added on Facebook, in the coming weeks, I'm sure I'll be sharing a little bit more on that. But for now, what I can say is that the new career that I'm taking on is going to, unfortunately, require me to step away from all the fun and, just all of this. So that's kind of the why. Now, does that mean I'm done with HeroClix? I think I can answer that actually with a point. No. I don't know how long moving takes. I mean, I guess I officially moved in about 20 days ago, but as you can see, I still have my wall lined with boxes of stuff. So that needs to be condensed. If you're a HeroClix player, I'm willing to bet that you probably have a wall or basement or shelf that looks similar to this, so no judging. But I am not done with HeroClix in any sense. In the same way as all of you as well, I think HeroClix is very much an innate thought. When you're a bit of a blank slate, this is just what you think of, whether it's team building or maybe you're thinking of a new video, like whatever it is, HeroClix it's just what you think about. So I still plan on going to events, I still plan on playing, and I definitely still plan on being a part of a community online. I could never leave that. It's just a matter of dedicating specifically to this is something that I am no longer able to do. So I don't know how long this video is going to be. I'm just going to kind of ramble, no special edits or anything. But I do want to talk about what HeroClix started as for me, what Dial H became, how it started, and then just kind of say thank you to all of you guys for so many different reasons. So HeroClix for me started when I was about 4 or 5 years old. My brother went to a field day at his school, and when he came home, he came back after our local game store had visited his school with a scroll technician, a scroll warrior, and then the one that really caught my eye, an experienced bullseye from Infinity Challenge. And I remember as a kid, like laying on my bed and just looking at this thing, just blown away by how cool it was. And then also knowing that there was a game attached to it. I couldn't believe it. And so I was immediately just fixated on this. Growing up, there was always Pokemon, Magic, various like Marvel card games, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever it was, like all the trading card games, action figures, whatever, they all just paled in comparison to HeroClix for me. So growing up, every Friday, that's where it was. I got, a whole group of kids from my school to go on Fridays. My brother and his friends would go. My brother and I would play at home. In school, I'd bring my HeroClix there. They'd get taken away. I'd write down stats in my notebook, draw their sculpts. That would get taken away. The teacher would look at it like, what is this? They're very confused. And then at the school computer lab, I would go to HeroClix.com when we were supposed to be working on whatever. That site got banned. So to say that I haven't been like this for, I don't know, my entire life, I don't think I can. It's always been HeroClix. So after kind of elementary school, playing every Friday night. Like it didn't matter what was on Friday. I missed family vacations to go play in the Heralds of Galactus event to win a pyro. So there was just no question. It was Fridays. I'm busy. That's what it is. When I transitioned to middle school, I ended up moving. So I went to a different school. So I didn't have a lot of friends when I first got there, but almost immediately I found some more people who were interested in HeroClix. So we got playing. Same deal every Friday. On the weekends, we'd have sleepovers, play HeroClix all day. It was awesome. But around the time I got to high school, I think I kind of felt the need to like reinvent myself. I don't want to be a nerd, which is totally lame. Be who you are. And I'd kind of retired my HeroClix, my little tackle box, into the corner of my room. Well, I was hanging out with my friend Luke one day, and he saw those in the corner of my room. He's like, "What are these, dude? These are so cool." I was like, "Are they?" Well, I suppose we could play a little bit. And that very quickly turned into another group of people in high school where we're going every Friday. And then, we'd have a sleepover then, be like 4 or 6 of us, and we'd just be playing HeroClix all night, wake up the next day. We're playing 4-player battle royales on the Coliseum from, I think it was Mutations and Monsters, just like all day. And it was so much fun. And during that time too, I did go to Worlds. I went to Origins. I had been to a few major events, but that was never really like my hand. I wanted to kind of just play locally, enjoy that. And I was never super meta focused until probably like around the time I got to college. But then I was also a poor college kid. It's expensive. So I had to kind of pump the brakes on that. And I would still play with my friend Luke, and that's largely what it turned into. Is Luke and I would play on the weekends, or for a while we went to the same school, so we'd play during the week. But for the most part, it was that, and we'd go to a couple state tournaments here and there. And around that time, going to those state tournaments, I ended up meeting Calder and Simeon. Now, when I first met Calder, I knew of Dial H. I really was not involved in the competitive scene. But I liked Dial H because they didn't really focus on that. Their show was very oriented to the lens that I viewed the game through. And so I had listened to a handful of episodes. I saw Calder at the event, and he was wearing his, signature Cool Stuff Inc. shirt. I think if you look up any HeroClix photo of Calder, like circa 5 to 7 years ago, he has that shirt on in like every photo. And so I went up to him and I was like, "Hey man, I really enjoy the show." And he looked at me like this. He's like, "Yeah, okay, like thanks." I was like, "What did I do?" I was like, he thought I was messing with him. I was like, "No, like legitimately, man, I enjoy the show." And he's like, "Oh, really? Okay, well, thank you, man." And then with Simeon, I had met him at like a Nebraska States event, and we had gotten down because he was telling me about a fan-created Flyclops, which was Cyclops with this helicopter-shaped device on his head. So basically all of his lasers would spurt out and spin around so that he could fly away. And he's like showing me these pictures of it. I just thought it was so funny. And realizing that that's what those guys did, for a long time, I wanted to do the same thing. But doing it alone and kind of just where I was in life and how I viewed myself, I just viewed it as like impossible. It's like, there's no way I can put myself out there like that. And these guys so consistently did that. So kind of immediately after meeting them and seeing what they did, I started to have thoughts of like, I need to weasel my way into here. Yeah, I need to figure that out. So shortly before COVID happened, we went to the last in-person event, which I think was in, I want to say like Indiana. It was like an Air Force base or like a gym, an armory, something like that. But Calder was there, and we actually drove there in the Phoenix bus, which is now playable. So, but we started talking on the car ride there. We hung out the whole weekend. We had a good time. And during that, I had been talking to him about like wanting to be on the podcast and saying like, "Hey, I really think like talking about the HeroClix market and like when to buy things is an important thing for new players." Calder thought that was interesting. He's like, "Yeah, let's get you on the show." So we did that, and I just wasn't satisfied with being a guest, so I had to figure my way in. Around that same time, I was working in sales, and so I started making videos for some insurance companies as well as myself. So I pitched the idea to them where I was like, "Do you guys want to start working on more YouTube projects?" What that led to was filming like the most ridiculous video I think we ever thought of or ever did in Vermilion, which was just the most fun ever. Like we spent the weekend filming things with no plan, just, a camera, a green screen, writing the script as it went. It turned out terribly. The trailer for it released publicly earlier this year. So if you guys want to go see the first Dial H project with me included in it, that's the one. And so when I got home to edit it, I was like, "Guys, this is bad." So we decided to go reshoot it. But again, we had no plan. We were just guys hanging out with a camera at that point. And so it turned out equally as bad. And I was embarrassed of that. But I still wanted to work with them. I just was like, we can't do anything with this. Like, I just did not want to put that out. But we had just spent all this time doing it. It was a mess. But during that time as well, Calder had the idea to film the funeral for WWE, as well as a video of him as Captain America, asking slash begging for Disney Plus products, saying like, "We'd love to unbox this. Please give it to us." It was really funny. And so he asked like, "Would you edit these for me?" I was like, "Of course." So he sends those over to me. I put them together, and then a couple weeks later, WizKids called, or sorry, not called. They emailed us and said like, "Hey, we'd love to send you guys a brick of Disney Plus." And so I still remember being at work and taking a call from Calder, and he's like, "We got the brick." And I was just like, "No way, like that's crazy." So when the brick finally came, Calder was in like Iowa. Simeon lived in Omaha. I'm in Sioux Falls. Calder drove from Iowa to Omaha. I think he drove like 5 hours or something to go film this, and then drove back home another, I don't know, like 6 hours. Crazy to get this all done in like a short window. I'm in Sioux Falls waiting for it to hit, and we get it all edited, put it out the next day, and it was just crazy. And so that turned into WizKid sending us some X of Swords, which we did some Battle Royale stuff for, which was like a ton of fun. During the filming of that too, little just Easter egg. Before we unboxed the X of Swords, I said, if we get that Iceman Legacy, like I want it. I was like, I will never ask for anything again. I want the Iceman Legacy. And so when they open that and they pull out the Iceman Legacy, you can see they have quite the electric reaction. I was behind the camera, like fist bumping, just going, yeah. So that was really fun. And then what followed after that was WizKids reaching out and asking if we wanted to cover Worlds, which, to my knowledge, hadn't really been done before. I know there were some streams in the past and, various pictures and whatnot. But that was really, really cool. We went out there with, a rap sheet of dreams of like, we're going to do this and this and this and this. And then we didn't have hardwire internet. We couldn't stream. It was really rough. We did our best. And I like to think that we've improved from that point. So hopefully you guys would agree with that. But it was just so much fun. And in a lot of ways, it just felt like such a unicorn. The fact that Calder, Simeon, and myself all had this same idea, the same lens for looking at this game. And being in the Midwest, like the barren wasteland of the U.S., just there's nobody here. And here's three guys who are fully dedicated to the point where Calder and I moved in together and moved to Omaha. The reason I live here is because of Dial H, which is always funny when people ask me, like, oh, what brought you here? And I'm like, work, kind of. So, yeah, I mean, it was just so much fun. And with all of this, I wanted to do this for such a long time. And when I was living in Arkansas, when I was like 20, I had actually filmed some content by myself, but I was like way too embarrassed to put myself out there, to show myself doing these things. And I saw how Calder and Simeon just like did not care. They were so unashamed in who they were and the things they were interested in. And I saw that, and I wanted that. I wanted to be like that. I wanted to be that comfortable with myself. And if you look at a lot of the early Dial H stuff, the kind of internal conversations we had were always like, oh yeah, no, I just want to be the cameraman. Like, I don't want to squeeze in. And in some ways that was true. I didn't want to ruin a good thing. Like Calder and Simeon were great hosts together. A lot of the time we didn't need a third. But early on it was very much like, I don't want to be in front of the camera because like I'm not comfortable with myself. And so being around those guys for so long and seeing how they were really helped me out. And it was really cool. And so much of it too, like early on, I had some crazy big ideas, a lot of which ended up happening. And Calder and Simeon like never really questioned it. It was always like, okay, like I don't know how we get there, but we can do it. So in a lot of ways, we all had our different roles, and we just worked so well together. We all had the same dedication to it. There were so many days in Omaha that were just so unnecessarily long because this, that, or the other. I mean, one that I can think of was when we did our Peacemaker unboxing. We all agreed, like, yeah, let's like do the Peacemaker intro before the unboxing. Let's do a little dance. And so we go film Calder. He does it in literally like 30 seconds. We're like, okay, cool. Simi and I are on the couch then, and we're just like, dude, I don't want to dance. Like, I can't dance. What am I doing? It took us like, I don't know, probably like 4 hours to film like 20 seconds each of dancing because we were both just so unenthused with the idea of doing it when it actually came time to doing it. So that was a really funny day. And there's so many examples of that I could go into, but I'll cut it off there and just say, I mean, truly, like, thank you to them for including me, for letting me be part of this, and for really just showing me that, corny or not, it's okay to, like the things you like and be who you are. So if you're a person who wants to do content for any game, if you're just starting out and you're worried about it being bad or whatever it is, if you have your trepidations, I highly encourage you to just start doing it, especially if you have a buddy who will commit to it with you, because it is so much fun to do. And genuinely, if you stick with it, you can look back like a year later, 2 years later, and see how much you've improved. So, yeah, it's weird to kind of close this chapter of my life because, so much of what I've done has centered around Dial H. Quite literally, the reason I live in Omaha, again, is because of Dial H. So, yeah, it's strange, but ultimately, I'm so thankful to have been a part of it, and it's not going anywhere. Calder's still around. The Dial H network of people that we've worked with, they're all still there too. And, maybe down the line in some capacity, I will be too, but that's hard to say right now. So, to all of you guys, genuinely, thank you so much for giving me a purpose, something to look forward to always. Just supporting us, watching our videos, the live streams, listening to the podcast, liking our stuff on Facebook, saying hey at events. I've met so many cool people from Dial H. Like, I have to give a shout out to Luke, our cameraman from Canada, who I met in a Discord call at like midnight through Dial H. And now he is someone that I talk to every day. Bill DeRoche as well, the ELO guy, another guy that I've just become so close with. Alec Musser, Asael Campos. I don't know why I said it like that, but those guys are great too. Matt Reed, Ryan O'Polk, the whole WizKids staff, they're fantastic. Like, all of these people that I've gotten to meet and grown really close with. It's the best. I've made lifelong friends through this game, and I still, again, plan on continuing this game. But I owe it all to you guys for really giving me the spirit to continue with all of this and to, I guess, enjoy the game as much as I have. So, I don't know. I think that's about everything I have to say. I'm sure I could keep going, but I will leave it at that, and I will just say thank you again. So, for the last time, happy trails. Still feels wrong to say that. I think for a while I was saying put a pickle in your beer, which if you haven't done that, you should. But, yeah, signing off for the last time.
Yeah, my bones are metal.
Don't believe me? Hear from my customers. It's the best.
Yeah, I was thinking we could do something like with all sorts of crazy futuristic sci-fi elements and...
By the way, did Billy and Clicks Bruce buy that costume for you?
The client never placed the Absorber Man Prime from the sideline onto the map.
And you're going to see that
figure
not only
never
is he a good
touched
rock
paper,
cheater.
you cannot adjudicate him.
Order in the court.
This one
I
is
really like these.
Mysterio and Bombastic Bagman.